Yo, welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Pino, season 39, round two, HC Emma, new home, new group, new season, new excitement. We're playing these guys Spartan Law. I don't really remember them when we were climbing, when I was in HCX a couple seasons ago. I don't think we crossed paths. But anyway, they have some interesting bands too, Quake, Ghosts, and Falcon. I guess I kind of understand the Falcon, but there's a lot of debuff detox champs that do better in certain situations. That's the team I'm going with. Nimrod, Rentra, both rank fours. But the highlight MVP underdog is going to be this Hawkeye. I just took the rank three. I had him ranked two a couple of seasons back, and I think it was Mystic Dispersion. I could be wrong. Anyways, I went on ahead, used him in a test during off season. He looked good, and so we're gonna run him loose. First fight up is gonna be this Piggy spam. So I finally got used to the debuff detox, where either dex or do the whole parry and knock off the debuffs that you'll get. And it works not only for like these UG defenders, it works really well for nodes that have that, or champs that put a lot of debuffs on you. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but in this fight, you'll see it all comes together. Off-season practice really did, show its worth. And you can see here I was going pretty, pretty controlled. I'm gonna start critting really good here too. I try to do medium, light, medium, just not to overextend. His heavy gets the slow debuff on him. If you want to refresh it, just throw another heavy. And you see I kind of do that. SP1 is power draining, and I went on and changed my masteries. I had to dump a little bit more into deep wounds. I took deep wounds down to 1. I pumped it up to 4 for this round. But yeah, that was a pretty easy fight. I was stoked. And now we're gonna go on to some Nimgod fights. I'll be honest, I don't think Professor X is a tough defender. In fact, I would not place him as a defender because he's a Corvus charge. There's some other reasons too, but I just don't. There's a lot of good tech champs out there that can really steamroll him, and you're about to see him do it right now. But it's been a while since I had faced off with one. And the name of the game for me on this one is no different than what I've always done when I'm using Nimrod against mutants that are I'm gonna fight. So get a couple of parries so I can stack that armor really fast, get to SP2, find my window, and fire away. Right. Professor X has that falter mechanic. It is gonna get I am gonna get caught in this before I fire the SP2, but all in all, wasn't it really that hard of a fight? I mean, it's Nimrod versus a mutant that isn't Bishop, so you'll see. Pretty standard here. Just kind of building the power now. And I just got to be a little patient in this one. But what you'll see here, look, I get caught right there. I'm safe to hit him, and then I just fire away. Nice pause, boot to the face, and passive shocks are just going to eat him up. Fight's over. All right, got another Nimgod fight against this Havoc. I'm going to do something that I probably shouldn't have done, otherwise I would have got the fight done a lot sooner. But I knew I wasn't going to be in any danger of taking this Havoc down. And what I'm talking about as far as what I shouldn't have done is he's got protection up, and this is ebb and flow knockdown. I will not heavy and knock him down. Probably asking me why. I think at this point I was in a rush. And then you go, well, if that's the case, why didn't you parry? I actually wanted to really test the damage output with the protection of. I know it sounds crazy, but But I mean, I did drop down from Masters from 2 seasons. This isn't tier one defenders, so in a sense, in regards to the nose, the health pool, and all that stuff. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe call it having some fun. But you can see here, this fight's going to go pretty controlled. It's going to take a little longer, but he is going to go down. And yeah, no really big problem here. Just another simple Nimrod fight with the protection up pretty much the entire fight. I mean, it does come down because of the SP2s at times when I'm knocking them down, but you know, I didn't really go for it before I fired initially. So, anyways, easy fight, easy one in the bag. Next fight. All right, so here's the last highlight fight for the MVP, OG Hawkeye, and I'm gonna take this Invisible Woman on Path 4 in Section 2. You've got the unblockable on this node for both fights. And again, I'm going to showcase basically this debuff detox capability here. I think I opt to do more parries than I did dexes in this one, but you'll see. Hawkeye's really good. I mean, the power drain, the crit bleeds, you know, the heavy slow isn't necessary, but I'll throw a few in there. Now notice I threw that, had good spacing to still dex. I threw the SP1, she throws her SP, and if you go back to that pause, you'll notice she goes unblockable, but because I threw my SP and I had those little charges for debuff detox, I canceled it out, and then the unblockable went away. So if you missed it, go back, pause it, look at it. I was running an invulnerability boost because I am fixing to do a blitz after this. I wasn't sure how this fight was going to go. I did duel and I didn't see any debuffs. I knew once I got the SP1 I should be fine, and again doing the dex and the parry stuns, I'd be able to cancel out and pretty much have the fight in control. But as a safety net, I did have plenty of vulnerability boost, and I went on and popped one because I got to take this gore next. But as you can see, I thought I would never say this, but not in a million years did I see me ranking this Hawkeye up and ever thinking he would be pretty damn good. And he is. You just saw 2 fights. Anyway, we're going to get into this gore. I still have invulnerability boost up. I switched over. And I want to say in the beginning, that other fight too, I think I had I did have the 30%er on because I'm going to blitz several fights here. I want to switch these up just in case gore can get pretty tanky. This is a rank 4. You know, if I don't crit or I don't get enough ruptures when I fire off my SP2 rotation, I may need to get another SP2. So I knew going into this fight, once I make contact with them, I'll neutralize them and pretty much be in control of the fight. And if I make a mistake, I do have an invulnerability boost on. And I know he's going to get to 2 bars of power. That invulnerability boost is about to come into handy, and you'll see why. Because I already have a couple of debuffs on me right now, and you'll see it. He's throwing it, slows it down. You'll see the invulnerability is going to hold, but see the 2 shocks? All right, he makes contact, he's unblockable. So they got through, and he had those debuffs on me. So invulnerability boost did its job. I'm going to fire off this SP3, get a little bit of regen back. I was really happy with the damage the SP3 did. I only had an 8% Mystic SP boost on, so I don't know if that made a difference, but in the past season, a couple of times I used Rentra and had to do power dumps with his SP3. I didn't really get a lot of damage. So I don't know if it's going from, you know, Masters and dropping down to Platinum 2, you know, Tier 2, if that's the difference. But again, the SP3 did do a good bit of damage, which I was surprised. Um, we had punched a hole into section 2, and I said, okay, we had another hole punched in up the middle because I had another guy take Korg, and he cleared me. So then I had two Boss Island fights. We're going to use Wrencher for the CGR. Now, I was not quite sure how this would go. I have a rank 3 CGR. I dueled. Noticed that the D-Bus really wasn't the big deal, but you can't emulate something that I'm missing here. And those damnations were counting as D-Bus, and I was glancing. I get a little crazy here. I'm not paying attention. I make the mistake. I try to power dump. I notice, Dan, the falter's on me. I'm going to eat one to the face. That was on me, but look at my health. Wrencher is just super tanky. This node also has, if you nullify the champ, what is that? I think they get a power back or something like that. So Doom wouldn't have been ideal here, because he's gonna nullify. Rentra neutralizes. So, and I knew he was tanky, and these SP2s, man, like it can get out of hand. So I decided to go with Rentra. Yeah, I could have probably sent some other guys here. We had a Symbiote Supreme, but he was going down the right side. We did have a Hood. Haven't seen anyone do those fights with those champs, but after watching this, I'm pretty confident they could because they are debuff detox. But you still have to deal with the falter, and you still have to deal with, the power, the 50% only power use for a special. So, and you see the damage is like so far, meh. This fight's going to go all the way down to the 48, 47 second mark. I will get him down. Look at the reach on this SP1. That caught me by surprise. I did not expect it to reach that far, and then I paid for it. Lesson learned. If I have to do this fight again. I'm going to throw the SP3 to basically create space because I'm cornered and I don't want to be dealing with that. That was a hard thing too. There was a lot of times he was passive on throwing his SPs. I couldn't ever really get ruptures going and get him cornered enough so I could get the root on him and do damage this way. That was something I had to make adjustments in this fight on the fly. Wasn't easy to do, but I did because I was getting a little frustrated with the damage. Plus, you're looking at the clock. We had a donut going at this time, and you get a guy like me dropping down, and as far as competition level goes recently, and it's like you don't really want to be that guy. But right about here, I throw the SP2. I got 4 ruptures on. It did some decent damage. It's not the greatest. But I know at this point, I feel like, okay, I'm in control. The fight's, just keep doing what you're doing and you'll get them down. Yeah, but Rentra can get this fight down is what the takeaway is. I would probably play this a lot different. And that's why you do this, right? You can watch back and see what's going on. But at the end of the day, I do get the solo. I did learn a lot. You can use them. So if you get forced based off of matchup and planning, and I'm the one that planned this, maybe you make an adjustment. So anyways, fight's almost over. You can see now I'm just kind of like, all right, switch it up, go SP1, man, get that Fury. And that's probably what I should have did. I probably should have threw more SP1s and got the Fury and did attacks like that, relying more on basics. Maybe add in some heavies. But all in all, I wasn't too mad. And you see the regen. Look at the regen. I was rooted, and he throws that SP2, and he just fills me back up. So, end of the day, I didn't have any more fights with Rentra after this one. Last fight, I was very shocked to see this Kitty Pride here. This time, I was getting ready to roll out to a casino, and I needed a rush. So that's why I'm throwing on that the Power Back 200. Shouldn't need it. But in the event that something stupid happens, and I knew I was playing sloppy rush in a vehicle at this point, if I needed to get back to an SP2 and just launch another one, like there it was, But again, like I said earlier, a couple of parries, get your 10 armors. That way, you find your window, start removing the prowess. Not really worried about if I do attacks back to back on the node, because I can remove the prowess, get to the SP2, it's going to crit, and then look at the waves of passive shocks just nuke her down. Fight is over. I went 7-0 this round. It was a good war for me. It was a good war for the BG. We did get the first donut of the season, so super stoked about that. Like I said, I was really happy to kind of revitalize my passion and maybe playing the game a little bit more, coming back and helping some of my buddies out and playing with some buddies that we had. But if you like the channel, please subscribe, make comments. Deuces.